You get zero credit for loyalty, zero credit for honesty, zero credit for fairness or family or integrity, because everyone is expected to be fair.
We've had clients where we've had to say, you know what, look, we actually like you personally, we enjoy this business, but it's better for us to just recognize that, you know what, we're just not the right fit for each other.
Welcome to the Inside Forbes Councils podcast. Each episode shares transformative insights and advice from members of Forbes Councils, a group of invitation-only communities for successful executives and entrepreneurs. This is Inside Forbes Councils.
Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 26 of the Inside Forbes Councils podcast. I'm your producer, Stephen Ganoza. Today on the show we have John Hittler, a business coach at Evoking Genius. Evoking Genius is a business coaching firm specializing in exponential growth of sales revenue, company growth, and culture improvement. We also have Tsakalakis, a self-professed recovering trial lawyer and co-founder of marketing firms AttorneySync and EPL Digital. Company values. Sure, it's a topic we've covered before on the podcast, and I'm sure your company has already defined its core values. But are those values boring? Do they provide any strategic guidance in how you accept clients or choose vendors? You've heard it before that company values have to be more than just words posted on the wall, but they also have to be not boring. John Hittler of Evoking Genius.
Well, with company after company, I challenge leaders to create their most powerful values. Often they push back with something like this: we're all about honesty, integrity, and loyalty. They wait for me to be impressed. I kind of want to puke on their shoes. The automatic urge to vomit comes from the fact that the values presented are done so with a supreme pride that the company actually took time and effort to develop these. And what they developed is plain instant oatmeal.
Before we get to the strategic value of values, how do you know if your values equate to plain instant oatmeal?
Let's take honesty. It's a very common core value that lots of companies claim they're all about. It's also what we call an expected value. When we say it's expected, we mean you get no credit for holding this value. And here's why. If you're not honest, you can't hold a job. Nobody will retain you. If you're not honest, you can't have any friends because nobody hangs out with somebody that lies to them. And you can have no life partnerships, no spouse, no business partners, nothing like that, because nobody wants to hang out with somebody who fundamentally supports dishonesty. So you're required or expected to be honest or hold honesty as a value. You get 0 brownie points for that. Try the same litmus test for some other values. How about loyalty? Oh, I'm all about loyalty. Oh, yeah, I'm super loyal. If you work for a company and you say, I want a raise because I've been super loyal, the obvious answer is, yeah, we pay you. Of course you're loyal. If you weren't loyal, we'd fire you. And if you said to your spouse, I've been really loyal, and they go, what else would you be? Philanderer? You get 0 credit for loyalty, 0 credit for honesty, 0 credit for fairness or family or integrity. None of them pass the power test because everyone is expected to live in this culture and be fair. If we throw out expected values, and here's how you know they're expected. If they're expected, they don't pass those 3 tests: no job, no spouse, no friends. But if they're not expected, there's always an equally powerful opposite value. So for instance, let's take bold. Let's say one of your core values is bold. Now, is bold universally a great value? Nope. Is there an opposite value, a value that's opposite of bold, that's equally revered? Sure. Calm, measured, reasonable, chill. Which one's better? Depends on the situation, but they both have power. If you're looking at a tense hostage negotiation, Bold is not a very effective value. We don't want you to rush in and risk violence. Measured or calm would be much more appreciated at that point. Which one's more powerful? Depends on the situation. So we know that bold is not an expected value because there's an opposite value that's equally powerful.
All right, so if you throw out all of the expected values, how do you find out what you actually value?
I'll give you an example. You get home from work, you park the car, and you go out to the mailbox to get the mail, and somebody walked their dog, and their dog took a dump on your lawn. You're furious. You're absolutely livid. Now, if that happens to me, I kind of go, the landscapers will be here on Tuesday. They'll clean it up. Kind of not my job. I don't like it, but I kind of shake it off. But you're livid. Why? Probably because it's a violation of a value that you hold very dear. What might that be? Respect? Decorum? Decency? Consideration or considerate? You probably hold one of those values very dear, and somebody having their dog poop on your lawn and they don't clean it up, it's a violation of that. That's how we know you hold it dear, because it really bothers you and it doesn't bother other people as much. That's the easiest way to find your authentic values, is figure out what bothers you way more than other people. But once you've done that, here's a couple of tips. We gave the first one, which is find the opposite to the value you're espousing, and make sure there is an equally powerful opposite value. Second one, consider, rather than a one-word aspirational value, consider a directive. Now, what's a directive? A directive is simply a command. So rather than stating the one-word value, speak it in a command. So let's take bold. We used bold earlier. What would be a directive or a command that would represent bold? How about play to win, or always play to win? The underlying core value is bold, but you speak it in the action form, which is the directive. Always play to win. How about treat others the way I want to be treated? That's the dog poop example. Considerate, kind, reasonable. I don't know what the exact word is, but the directive might be treat others the way I want to be treated. It's a directive. Consider doing your core values for your company especially, but also for yourself as directives. Well, what happens if you're like me? I'm not stubborn. I don't qualify. I'm pig-headed. I'm way past stubborn. What if you pig-headedly say, now you don't understand. I really am all about honesty. I'm all about honesty. And go, okay, great. You're going to be all about honesty. All right, well, let's take that on. If you're going to stick with that, let's at least upgrade your value. Because honesty, if it's expected, you get no credit for it. Let's upgrade it. Let's turn it into a directive first. What might be the directive for honesty? Pretty simple. Always tell the truth. Is that fair enough? Always tell the truth, and you go, yeah, my core value is honesty. Yeah, always tell the truth is good. Okay. Well, here's the problem with that. You or I could always tell the truth and leave out half the salient facts. So everything we said was truthful, but we edited. In effect, shading or changing the truth through editing. Not really good enough. Okay, so we're going to have to upgrade. So we upgrade from always tell the truth to always tell the entire truth. We solved that problem of editing. Yep, we did. But it's better, but here's the problem. I could always tell the entire truth, but I could tell it several different ways with emphasis that helps my side versus your side. So again, I'm bending or altering the direction by the way I tell the entire truth. Not entirely honest, because we're not really getting it. So how about we have to upgrade again? How about this? How about always tell the entire truth regardless of the outcome? If we don't focus on who wins or who loses, but we just tell the entire truth, now we're unbiased. The funny thing, though, is when we upgrade to always tell the whole truth, regardless of the outcome, we're actually upgrading the value as well. We're no longer honest. We are now transparent. And don't you want transparency more than honesty? You just want people to say, can't you just say you took the check and that's why you're voting against this bill? Or with gun control, you say, look, can't you just say the reason I'm supporting this is because they give me crap tons of money? That's transparent. And we don't like it when people are not transparent. So, like upgrading from plain instant oatmeal to something more appealing, our suggestion is you upgrade your expected values to something that is powerful and authentic to you.
Okay, so you've upgraded your values from plain, boring, instant oatmeal to something much more exciting and vibrant, and they pass all of John's tests. But how do you use them strategically? Guy Tsakalakis of AttorneySync and EPL Digital.
The biggest thing is to put those values out into the world. So a lot of companies tend to want to hide their values or keep it on an internal company intranets. Our view is to put them out there so that when that vendor has their first impression of you, whether they're coming to your website or they see an ad or they're having a conversation with you, that's part of your DNA. They can tell right away, this is what's important for you. And then once you identified that, you'll actually attract vendors and partners that share those values because people that are like-minded tend to gravitate towards each other. In a lot of ways, it's the same thing as any relationship, right? Like when you get to know somebody, you start talking about what's important to you. And I think in businesses, there tends to be some, either it hasn't been thought about or it's been thought about, but it's not being shared. There's like a protection aspect to it. And so we found a lot more success with being transparent with the values, having those conversations, flat out just asking folks like, what's important to you? For a client, what are the most important metrics for you? Because we want to hold ourselves accountable. And again, it's not all rainbows and unicorns either. So the hard part is to say, hey, partner or vendor, we talked about this. We agree that this is important to both of us. You're not living that. And so we've got to go our separate ways. And so, but it makes it a lot easier because it's a lot more objective based, a lot more transparent than, waking up one morning and someone's in a bad mood and breaking up that way versus saying, hey, we actually thought about this. We've put some criteria in place and identified that we actually do share values. And so now it's a matter of making sure that we hold each other accountable for living those.
How does one guarantee accountability as it relates to company values?
So one of the things that we do, we offer our services on a basis that has the accountability built in. So for example, some of our clients will be on a month-to-month basis because we've got to deliver the agreement, the value that we provide every single month. And so that's one way that we live the value of accountability is like our feet are held to the fire. There isn't a long-term contract so that the accountability stuff goes away. One of the things that we talk about in negotiating agreements is, hey, what is the out here if you don't hold yourself accountable to the values that we've articulated in here? And we found it to be really, really effective, both at the filtering stage, but also to say, have tough conversations and say, look, we agreed to this early on. You agreed to it. You're just not living it. And so we're just not the right fit for each other, even though we might like the service, we might like the software, we might like the partnership in general. At the end of the day, we've really come to realize that the culture fit and the value alignment is extremely important to have success over the long run.
But surely by turning down clients that you don't share values with, this must have an impact on profitability.
Everybody wants to make money. Everybody wants to grow that revenue and be profitable, pay bonuses. But at the end of the day, we've had clients that we've had to say, look, whether it's not treating our team members with the type of respect that we believe that they're entitled, whether it's not delivering on something that they've agreed to do. A lot of with the agency service business, we have to rely on our clients for certain things. And so, we set those things out right at the beginning, and the clients that are able to deliver on that, things work great. But we've had clients where we've had to say, look, we actually like you personally. We enjoy this business, but time and again, you say you're going to do one thing and then you don't deliver on it. That makes it impossible for us to do our job. And so it's better for us to just recognize that, we're just not the right fit for each other because we obviously don't share the same value in terms of keeping our promises, integrity, and holding ourselves accountable.
But how many clients have you lost by filtering out those who don't align with your values?
overall, in 10 years of doing this and probably about 3 years of really being focused on mission, vision, values, and shared values with clients, I would say it's come up on, it's become an issue where we've parted because of these reasons in, I don't know, less than 10% of the time. So it's really been a huge boon, positive boon on our relationships with clients. It's been really good for our team members. Our team members are empowered to come all the way up to leadership and say, hey, you know what? I got to let you know, like, I really don't want to work with this client, and here's why. Now, if they're coming and they've got some concrete reasons and they've got examples of how we're just not sharing values, great. This isn't, we're having a hard time getting results for this client, or this is a difficult client. This is a client who is saying one thing and doing another, is not holding themselves accountable, isn't treating our team exceptionally. I mean, all the types, and you can go to our website and see, we post our values on our website. And so when that's happening, our team's empowered. And so the other good thing I think that folks should know is that empowering your team members to be able to make those kind of calls really attracts great people, right? Because the people, they know that it gives them a sense of ownership on the account. It gives them a sense of ownership on, their role in the business. And so you don't run into this like, well, I feel like I have to do this for the revenue. It's truly, this is a partnership. I know that I'm going to be supported in these values. These are the deal breakers for us. And so when this kind of stuff comes up, team members that are able to identify that early on, frankly, it's better for us as a business. Like, I would rather identify these challenges early on, go our separate ways, than be 8 months in and have a client being like, oh, our expectations are totally wrong. We want our money back. And then things getting ugly, because that kind of stuff can happen. But to answer you directly, it's really been a very small piece of our attrition has been not shared values, because I think we're so conscientious about identifying that early on. It's been a huge benefit to our team members. I think that they're more motivated. They're more excited to get to do their work, because they do have that sense of empowerment in terms of knowing that, hey, this organization backs me up on these values. As long as I'm living these values, I can expect to hold our clients accountable. Where we're not, we go our separate ways. And I will say this, again, like I said earlier, it's not all sunshine. We've sat down and usually we're able to suss a lot of this stuff out during the discovery and kind of the engagement stage, client development stage. And we've had conversations where it's, early on, hey, we really appreciate the opportunity to take a look, to respond to your request for proposal. But, after, several conversations, it's become clear, like, we're just not the right fit for what you need, and, good luck to you.
So as you define your company's core values, make sure they pass John Hittler's test. Don't be plain instant oatmeal. Make sure your values are not expected values, and that they really give insight into what matters to you. And once you've discovered what those values are, use them strategically. As Tsakalakis says, sharing your values will help you attract the right clients and vendors, and end relationships with those that you do not see eye to eye with. I'd like to thank John and Guy for contributing to this week's podcast. We'll see you on the next episode.
This has been Inside Forbes Councils. Please be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you're a member of the Forbes Councils and would like to participate in our podcast series, please email your member concierge. If you're interested in joining a Forbes Council, learn more at ForbesCouncils.com.